out earlier? Give me 1 second here. I gotta tweet this out. Oops, I forgot to tweet out the teaser on this one. 1 second here. Let's see there and there. All right, just tweet out so everybody can join in 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. And let me just make sure everybody's joined in here 1 second. All right. Cool. Make sure everybody's joined in here 1 second. Well, good stuff, guys. Well, hope everybody had a great trading day today. And so, it was another choppy day today, but a little bit more like sharper price action within that chop. So it was pretty complex today, but interesting stuff here as we tag fresh all-time highs. So anyway, guys, this week we're continuing our series here on tracking Tesla. So let's keep tracking Tesla, and see how it's been doing here. But before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off in the market here today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. And then we're going to go through the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, guys. So SPX has about like $4 here today, so definitely a chopper, right? Look at that weekly chart, guys. The range on this week so far is 20.47, right? When was the last time we had any sort of narrow range week? This was 41 points. This was 43 points. What do we have? A 21-point week. This one here, 37 points. 65 points. Here we got a couple narrow ones back here. 45 points, 61 points, right? So I don't think we saw anything like this until before the corona. 65 points before the corona crash, 78 points before the corona crash, 56 points. These guys were a little bit 27 points about 5 weeks before the corona crash. So far one of the narrowest range weeks we've seen all year, possibly since the corona crash too. So if it feels choppy, it's because it is. So good stuff there, guys. Daily chart again, same thing, right? Just kind of a grinder here as we're above the ADMA, and it's kind of tough to sell. It definitely doesn't feel impulsive, right? So it's like we want to put a nice impulsive wave on this one, but it just is not moving. Right? This could be kind of an extended triangle, I guess. It kind of pushed over the highs right here, but guys, it's really starting to feel like in any diagonal. So just keep an eye on it, right? Some of the bearish price action is really sharp, right? And so when I start to see that intraday, I'm like, okay, granted they did some dip buys on it too, but it's just like something's like kind of broken, right? So, but we'll see how it goes. It could be bullish, right? Going in tomorrow, we got CPI numbers tomorrow morning at 8:30 year over year. So that'll see where we're really at with inflation, right? And so that who knows? Maybe we're better and things just rip, or maybe we're worse and things just rip, right? Because it's like, oh, more inflation. That means or less inflation. Well, whatever, however the market wants to interpret it. But anyway, so we'll keep an eye on it, right? So it could actually affect the market. It could start to bring things down if that does happen. So anyway, let's stay with the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. What might be setting up going in tomorrow? And it looks like more chop. So far, just really, really choppy, guys. The volume was so low today, right, on the 5-minute candle, right? We like a nice, if things are going to get moving intraday after 10 o'clock, we like over 25,000 contracts on the S&P futures, right? If you go today on the intraday, we had some candles here. This one was 2,800 contracts on an intraday, right? Really, really low stuff. 3,400 contracts, 3,600, just very, very low stuff. And of course, at the last candle, they put 41,000 contracts in there. But it was just a slow, low volume day, right? So in the meantime, so that being said, right, we said we're kind of looks like we're triangulating a little bit right here. So what we can do is we tagged all-time highs. We can stretch a geometric line over there, right? Then we can kind of take this geometric line right here and stretch this out, I guess, a little bit here and see how that goes into the evening, right? So things usually get a little bit interesting around 2 a.m., right, when the European market opens. So we'll see where that goes. But in the meantime, choppy, sloppy, right? So we'll see how that goes. But again, 8:30 tomorrow morning, a CPI number, so that could get things a little bit spicy. So we'll see where we go from there. Anyway, guys, good stuff. So let's take a look at the topic again. This week we've been talking about let's keep tracking Tesla. So Tesla's been definitely an interesting one recently. It's been also a chopper too. Again, the big thing with Tesla that I'm waiting for is them to come out and come up with some. If anybody sees anything, let me know. But any resolution to this the plaid spontaneous meltdown that it's been doing, right? So So that's kind of an issue, right? But other than that, it's generally working its way up, kind of a grinder, right? That we talked about. There's a couple different wave counts on this thing, right? So one of them was the triangle count, right? There's a couple triangles on here that we could be looking at, right? So for instance, right, this could kind of be this A, B, C, D. We could be looking at a wave E down, so that's really kind of the bearish count, right? But we've generally been pretty bullish on it because we've been tracking this for a while, and we had this A, B, C down zigzag, right? A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, zigzags are 5, 3, 5s, right? So there's 5, A, B, C, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. And then we've just kind of basically been grinding our way up, right? And possibly a fresh wave that hasn't really gotten impulsive yet, right? But if you kind of zoom into it, right, it looks a little bit impulsive on the shorter term time frame, right? Or on the, kind of when you take a snippet of it, right? It's not, crazy Tesla, but it could be, doing its thing. So we talked about this, the possibility of a 1, 2, 3, right? We last week it looked like it was doing a triangle into the end of the week, but then we got that push down on Friday, right? So that broke the triangle theory and basically was saying like, okay, we're working on an ABC. Now, is the ABC in? Possibly, right? So this could be the A, this could be the B, and we could have been looking at, I like the gap up this morning, right? It was kind of like a bearish one, and then we started to push our way down. It's kind of like a 1, 2, and I really thought we were going to start to flush here today on Tesla, but they bought the dip, right? So at this point now, I would say there's two, other than the triangle, right? There's two kind of counts on this one. There's still the bearish count that this thing could work its way down, fill the gap, and give us a larger wave C down, right? Or this is it, right? This is your wave C, this is your A, this is your B, this is your C, and this could be a little bit of a 1, 2. So how do we know which one it is? We don't, right? We need the price action to start to confirm it and give us some clues, right? So just because they buy the dip today doesn't mean it's bullish. Just because we had some sharp down moves doesn't mean it's bearish. We need to start taking out some levels, right? So we need to take out today's high, we need to take out today's low, right? Whatever, we need to take out this low right here. We need to start seeing some volume, right? And that's really kind of key. And right now we're not really seeing much. So we're just kind of choppy right here. We're doing this potentially a longer corrective pattern, but we're gonna keep an eye on it and see what it does. So good stuff, guys. Hopefully you found that helpful. At this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can, try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff, guys. Shirley sent a few in via email, so let's take a look at these. So she's got a few financial names on the radar. Obviously, the Finns have been doing really well right here. It's Capital One with a nice breakout candle right here, right? Fresh all-time highs over the ADMA, looking pretty strong. See if it gets any follow-through. Ally, I typed in AALY, but it's Ally. Ally Financial, another one, right? Nice candle today, breakout 50-day moving average, looking pretty good, guys. The banks, and Shirley, you might want to take a look at these too. The TNX, right? So the 10-year, right? This thing's been pretty strong recently, and the banks have been kind of following this. Right, so if the TNX starts to get weak, right, watch your XLF and watch your banks, right? So just a little bit of caution there. And we got TAP on the radar. Let's take a look. TAP with a, yeah, nice. Strong push right here, back over the 200-day moving average. I like that. That's a really nice move on that one. And Pfizer, guys, what's this going to do? Is it going to pull an MRNA? Don't forget, guys, MRNA, even though it's $500, not like back in the Corona crash time, right? When they needed a vaccine, this thing was like $30, right? So where's Pfizer at now? Now Pfizer is an older company, right? So Pfizer is in its 50s right now, but who knows? Maybe this thing will go to 500. Look at the volume that's starting to come in this thing. So again, this is tough one to chase right now. But every pullback has been viable to the ADMA, right? Double inside day to the ADMA up. A little bit of a pullback right here, a couple dojis up, right? So this is kind of one of those crazy movers right now. So I'd be a little bit careful, but at the same time, right? Just see how it handles. Maybe it'll give us an inside day, maybe a potential pause day. So that can be interesting too. WBA. Again, nice push on this one here too. It's kind of like a little mini harmonic right here. I like the increased volume, the push back over the 200-day moving average. So let's see how that goes from there. Great charts, really appreciate it, Shirley. And Muku, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look. You got BE on the radar. So Bloom Energy, yeah, big push there, rejection of the 50-day moving average, right? So a little bit of caution there. And then BEP, let's take a look. So you got the B's on the radar, right? This is like this is looking a little bit like a bull flag, right? So see if we can kind of break out of that geometric line, see if we can get going from there. So good stuff, great finds there. And Armando, what's going on? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday, turnaround Tuesday. We got WB on the radar. We just looked at that one. Great minds think alike. You got AMGN on the radar. I like the lower shadow off. It's not a huge amount of volume to be like, hey, this is a bunch of capitulation, but it is a nice lower shadow, right? Maybe wait until after it goes ex-dividend and see how it goes from there. Dow. Yeah, nice push right there. It's right to the 50-day moving average, right? So it might just kind of might be all it had in store. But if it pushes above it and gets to the cloud, maybe it'll get going again. So good stuff there. JR, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. Let's take a look at gold. So gold, guys, is getting crushed, which is great, right? So, we did get an interesting bounce right here off of the off of GLD. We didn't quite hit this level, but look what happened on the gold futures. A perfect bounce off of the geometric line right here. Look at this. from these two guys right here, boom, look at that bounce off of that. Really, really cool stuff. So it was kind of like a head and shoulders type, sideways head and shoulders type breakdown here too, and bounce right off the geometric line. So the GC was really nice, but gold again, same thing, getting crushed there with the rest of the precious metals, right? Roblox, let's take a look. Inside day, right after a big day yesterday. Again, this is a tough name to hold these days, but maybe it'll start pushing its way up. Earnings coming up really soon here, so definitely something to keep an eye on there if it takes the inside day up. Love, interesting here. Volume's not really quite there, but back over the ADMA. It's got a lot of work to do to really kind of change trend, right? So if you kind of just push this right here, it's got some work to do. I'd like to see it over the 50-day, maybe some volume into the cloud. And if anybody could fly into the clouds, it's Southwest Airlines, right? So good stuff there. Steven, what's going on? Good to see it. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. DKNG, let's take a look. This is one of my favorite names. Yesterday, it gave us a pop off of that inside day, but just kind of ran out of steam, so it was kind of an early mover, and that was about it on that one. But coin, interesting, right? So earnings, this is a big mover too, and then back down again, and earnings after hours, and just kind of blah, right? But actually really good earnings after hours, but just no go, right? So this thing's gonna open pretty flat tomorrow, so that's gonna really crush some premium, and then we'll keep an eye on the 15 orb tomorrow and see if it's ready to make a move, right? So good stuff there. Apple's getting really tricky here, guys. Inside week last week, now it's a double inside week, but if it watch either end of that inside week range, see which way it goes. It seems to be kind of tapping on the low end of that range right now, and it gives us we're in a trend box, right? So we had increased volume today, but it kind of came up a little bit, so it's not that scary. If it closed below the trend box with increasing volume, we'd be a little bit more worried. But in the meantime, let's just see what it does going into tomorrow. If it has some bearish price action, we'll look to see if we can ride that wave. And then Fate, let's take a look. So Fate with a bearish engulfing day today. Look at that candle, nasty with increased volume, right? So right to the 80 MA, see if that holds the support. If not, look for maybe a pullback to the 50-day if it wants to get that bearish engulfing candle follow through. So good stuff there. Than, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at ABGO. So ABGO, guys, we looked at this one this weekend. This is just such a tough name. I wouldn't even mess with this, honestly. Like, maybe infrastructure stuff it could get going, but there's so much other stuff, guys. We pointed out this weekend, we pointed out on the live stream, we pointed out Caterpillar, right, looking like it was getting ready to do a little 1-2, possible wave 3 up here. We got a nice push on that today, right? You got your John Deere, right? So just good infrastructure names, kind of look at stuff like that. And the other stuff you could look at too is like 5G network, things like that, right? A couple of the base metals have been really strong on this infrastructure stuff. Like X, we put that on our radar today, but other names too, like AMAT, right? Not AMAT, AA, sorry. The base metal names. These things were really, really strong, right? So nice stuff there. So keep an eye on those. Could be interesting. Michael, FULC, what's going on? Michael Phillips, FULC. Whoa! Look at Fulcrum. Nice move on that one. Good find there. How's NVAX doing? And back down again, right? Hero to zero. Big upper shadow there today. And down a little bit after hours. Let's take a look at ACI. Woo! Look at these Albertsons. How about Albertsons coming up with some sort of cure? Look at that. The grocery store out of nowhere. Retail was super duper strong today, guys. So, I guess this one just decided to move. We don't even have any Albertsons in our area, but yeah, you go Albertsons, cool. But we do have Kroger. How'd that one do? It was okay, not as good as Albertsons, but still pretty well. But look at that crazy Kroger move. What did this one? Wasn't this one like a meme name for a little bit or something? Anyway, so cool stuff there. What else? Armando, UNH, let's take a look. UNH, tricky name, right? It's got really, really low volume on the options. Getting kind of choppy right there, but yeah, triple top, right? Not seeing a triple inside day, right? There'd be 3 yellows in a row. Here was a triple inside day right here, right? So, but we are looking at kind of triple top-ish, right? So just kind of keep an eye on that, right? So if we break down below the 50-day moving average in the cloud, look at that, you got a nice big old juicy gap right down there, right? So it's something to keep an eye on there too. Yeah, JR, my pleasure. Thanks so much. The area, what's going on? Good to see it. Yeah, LAC with the Nigerian pump today. Lots of, what do they say? Like call activity, unusual options activity. All day today is what they were talking about. So not sure if there's any actual news, but it did clear a pivot level right here. It did not clear these pivot levels up here. It left you with an upper shadow off of that. So we really like to see and see how it goes. A lot of the other names, really kind of the electric vehicle names that would use lithium, stuff like that didn't go. But maybe this is good for the 2050. When are we going? When are they trying to go like all electric vehicles or something? Maybe 2050 is like jets are going to use like sustainable energy or something like that. But anyway, keep an eye on it. Could be interesting. Definitely, like I said, saw some unusual activity today, or it was just the CNBC pump. So watch for the drop after that, right? So good stuff there. And then CNEF. CNNEF. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, it's got a tricky name right here, right? So this is a penny name under the ADMA, right? Okay, little green candle today. Just just be careful with it. Maybe if it gets back above it, it'll try to move. So we got that going on there. Yeah, Muku. Yeah, by 2030, right? Exactly. So by 2525, right? So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, good stuff, guys. Awesome requests tonight, and really appreciate the input and the questions, and always appreciate that, guys. So good stuff there. We'll see what Tesla does tomorrow, and we'll see if it gives us any follow through either direction, and then we'll report on it here, and then see if we can track some follow through. So we'll see how that goes, guys. Keep an eye out tomorrow for the inflation numbers in the morning. Maybe that'll get things going a little bit, and then we'll see where we go from there. So again, guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody has a great evening. We'll see you guys bright and early right here on YouTube for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And until then, guys, stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk